On today's World Inside, the power of music to bridge cultures and civilizations across Europe and China. That's the work of Maestro Zubin Mehta of the Maggio Musicale Fiorentino Orchestra, Maestro Mehta's decades-long experience on why music transcends borders. And insights from Pedro Vargas David, the chairman of the Euronews Board of Directors, on why strong China-EU relations still matter today.
Hello and welcome to World Insight with me, Tian Wei. The decades-long relationship between China and the European Union has not only benefited from hefty economic and trade ties, but also cultural interactions, such as in art and music. These awe-inspiring masterpieces have been interpreted by generations of musicians for the public across the borders. This July, legendary Maestro Zubin Mehta leads the orchestra of Maggio Musicale Fiorentino back to China. It is highly regarded as the bridge of music between China and Europe. About 30 years ago, many in China remember dearly that Maestro Mehta conducted Puccini's opera Turandot at the Forbidden City in Beijing. It was a historical moment. As someone who is deeply connected to the soil and friendship with his people, Maestro Mehta bears witness to the universal appeal of international artists and people's common love for music. In my recent conversation with the legendary figure, he shares more about his story and the love between him and China. Maestro, what a pleasure to see you in Beijing again.
Thank you.
This is like your home almost.
Very happy to be in China, like I've always been before.
I remembered Turandot,
Yes.
unprecedented, and there is no follower after that.
Yes.
And the lineup of all the singers and the best of the cast together at the Forbidden City.
Yeah.
Everybody would say, bravo, Maestro.
We did a lot of work from the stage, and at the end of a concert, when the audience stands up, it's not only for you. It's for the way what they watch the orchestra on stage involve themselves when they play with all their hearts.
After decades of engaging with China, working with Chinese artists, what is China to you? What was it like to nurture them from, small kid, right? You saw them grow. And Yo-Yo Ma, of course.
No, he was not so small, but he was a great cellist already then.
Yeah. But also, Lang Lang and Yu Jia, they were all small kids.
No, Lang Lang I knew since he was about 12 years old. My son brought him to me. My son was in Philadelphia, and Lang Lang studied in Curtis, Philadelphia. He says, you have to hear this boy, he's wonderful. So he brought him to New York, and he played for me.
It's a whole generation of
Yes,
Chinese
I know him for a long time.
musicians.
And I know his family.
Very
Wonderful
unique
mother
family.
and father.
Yes. What is it like, as a result, China to you?
Well, every time we're planning to come to China, I do everything that it happens. I My wife loves coming here too. And we have come here as tourists also.
You did?
Yeah, we went once to Don Juan in the north. Yeah. Beautiful. And Chengdu. I have not played in Chengdu, but I went to see the pandas. And Harbin. We went to Harbin. Lovely. I just love it. We went there in the winter, saw the winter festival, and the summer with the Israel Philharmonic, we gave concerts. And they have built a new music school in Harbin. Very impressive. So I was very thrilled.
So you see China inside out?
Almost.
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 What are the things that you still want to see when you say almost?
Well, in China, I've seen most of it. Chungking, I'm going for the first time.
Oh,
okay.
This time?
Yeah.
This time you are coming together with the Orchestra del Maggio Musicale Fiorentino. I hope I pronounced them right. And this is an orchestra you have been nurturing over the decades. And this time you have some wonderful repertoire prepared already.
We're playing a classical repertoire. One Brahms symphony, one Tchaikovsky, and some Italian works too.
Which one is closer to your heart?
The Brahms symphony.
You're a great example transcending borders.
I try.
And it works.
I was music director in Israel for 50 years. Israel is not everybody's favorite cup of tea. So touring with them was not always easy because we went to countries that were not friendly towards Israel. Right now, I don't even want to comment on it because it's so bad.
This is marking the 55th anniversary China-Italy relations. And also China-Europe, 50 years. China
Really?
and European Union, 50 years. This year is a big year.
Yeah. I heard about China since I'm a child because my father's brother was there.
Yes.
Always.
I saw
my grandmother spoke about Shanghai every day because her eldest son, she had 5 sons. Her eldest son was the head of a cotton factory in Shanghai. Yeah. So she went to visit him, and my cousin was born, and my cousin became a wunderkind pianist. He was giving concerts when he was already 8 or 9 years old. And he spoke only Shanghainese. So when they came to visit us, I could not hardly speak with him. And then they came later on, and then he went to Vienna to study, and I went to Vienna to follow him. So I was very close. But my grandmother was every day in China with us. She went by ship, and she was almost 70 years old. Wow. And she was brave for an Indian lady of 70 to go by ship.
When you travel now in China, do you think about her from time to time?
Yes. When I'm in Shanghai, I phone my cousin who is in America. And he still has friends.
What do you make of this apparent changing picture of the world as an artist?
Well, it's not easy. It's not easy, and you have to be very spiritually successful and give the public spiritually what to listen to. And it's in the end, it's the mastery of Mozart and Beethoven that really convinced the people. They wrote their pieces 200 or 300 years ago, and they are still popular, means still classical.
It goes here.
Yeah. So they are the ones who work for us.
And you are the one who built the bridges between them and the audience.
That's what we call interpretation. It's our interpretation of those classics that hopefully convinces, first of all, the orchestra, then the public.
You are very convincing, by the way, Maestro, because you've been working with not only, you know, the orchestra around the world, but also some of the biggest names. I mean,
with soloists?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate.
Yeah. First of all, the three tenors, they are all strong personality. I mean, as a maestro, how could you, you know, bring them all together?
No, because they are all very friendly. I had no problems. I did operas with all three of them before, so I knew them all. And they got along very well. They didn't fight of which aria they would sing. It was no problem.
They were all gentlemen.
Friendly with one another. That helps.
And how do you bring the best out of them?
I don't know, they do that. They have competition amongst themselves.
Good point. That's the way to go, isn't it? Not only them, but also when you were working with New York Philharmonic, Perlman.
I've been fortunate to work with great soloists. Isaac Stern, Jascha Heifetz, Vladimir Horowitz, and the biggest was Arthur Rubinstein. He was my greatest soloist I ever had, and I learned so much from him.
What did you learn?
I learned the simplicity of interpretation from him. And then, of course, I have the younger generation like Daniel Barenboim and Itzhak Perlman and Pinchas Zuckerman. They were the next generation, and they were all great and wonderful.
Do you miss some of your friends?
Yes, especially Isaac Stern. I miss because we had a great friendship on stage. And Rubinstein also. It's the musical phrase that we give to one another. He plays one phrase, I reply with the other. That's the composer who did it also.
That's beautiful, the way you describe it. I love it. And now, the whole new generation coming up.
Yes.
Do you see difference?
And there are a lot of Oriental. I just did Aida in Florence. I had 3 great Korean singers, but only South Korean. North is not even available.
We hope one day they will be.
And 2 Chinese were there also.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Global cast.
Yeah.
Without the language communicating, you bring the best out of them once again.
We have to teach them Italian.
Was it difficult?
Pronunciation not so good.
Having said that, though, you experimented with new ideas. For example, when you were in New York, perform in Harlem.
Yes.
Bring the music to the most grounded occasions.
Yeah, because I found out that the New York Philharmonic had never played in Harlem. And there's a church which is their Mecca.
Yes.
For the black people.
You were there.
So we went, I asked the priest, and he says, please come. So we went there with great white and black soloists.
If you want to say something to your Chinese audience, anything you want to say to them?
I hope I come back very soon.
We are looking forward to the next time again. Thank you so much, Maestro. What a pleasure. That is my exclusive interview with the legendary Maestro Zubin Mehta when he has been performing with the orchestra of Maggio Musicale Fiorentino from Italy in China. Later, I also sat down with some of his friends and asked about how they felt about the tour and the music tie between China and Europe. You heard Maestro very excitedly talking about his future China tours.
He is a real China fan, and his wife is as well. And all over the world, they tell everybody about China, how wonderful it is. For Maestro, he stays in the center of the repertoire.
Sure.
So the first half of the concert is very beautiful Italian music, and the second half is a big symphony, right? We wouldn't have minded to do a little more adventurous programming. He wanted to do it as well, but it's a quite heavy tour. Right, 8 concerts in just 2 weeks.
Indeed.
And so the orchestra...
And in different cities.
And in many different cities. So there's also the travel to think about. So he really felt we should stay a little bit more towards the center, other than adding, we talked about adding a Mahler symphony, it's a very big work, or adding some Italian symphonies. But anyway, we ended up with this, and he was happy with it. I think the audiences will be happy.
What is it like to work with Maestro?
I think I can speak on behalf of all my colleagues that for us is a privilege, is an honor, to work with such a legend of classical music and of arts in the world. And it's an inspiration every time. Of course, we can talk technique, we can talk the gesture, we can talk about many things, but I really believe it already comes from the look. So the contact that it makes you have, and that you learn to follow, and it's unique.
But every time is a joy. It's a joy to make music with him, and here in China, come back in. I think it's the 5th time.
Really?
Yes, for me, from 1999,
Wow.
with Maestro Mehta, with the orchestra of Maggio Musicale Fiorentino. I think music is the best way, the art of the relationship. So it's the best way to build this link, the bridge from our cultures.
Maestro Zubin Mehta visited China for performances a few years ago, which we supported in their organization and coordination. This year marks the 55th anniversary of diplomatic relations between China and Italy, and we hope to take this opportunity to invite renowned Western, particularly Italian maestros, to visit and perform in China, further advancing cultural exchange and mutual understanding. During today's event, Maestro Zubin Mehta most frequently mentioned Shanghai and Harbin. Harbin is currently hosting the Harbin Summer Music Concert, a prestigious event in China that focuses on domestic and international collaborations. This 2-month-long festival features classical music, stream performances, and other forms of artistic cooperation, reflecting our model for China's cultural exchange with the world. Upon learning more about the event, the maestro expressed strong interest and shared his hope to visit Harbin to experience the charm of this musical city.
This year, we are very glad to have back Maestro Mehta with the orchestra of Maggio Musicale Fiorentino, with 8 concerts in 6 Chinese cities. This is very important because I think the Chinese public is very fond of music, and it's very important to bring these great cultural events in as many cities as possible in China.
Right. 55 years anniversary China-Italy. Wow, congratulations.
Yeah,
and also 50th anniversary China-Europe. EU, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So these kind of cultural bridges are essential, especially at the time of challenge, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think that this is really our approach. I think that culture is also a very powerful means for dialogue, and we need dialogue because, of course, we are living in very challenging times. So also for political interaction, for bilateral cooperation, culture is a bridge, and also is a people-to-people, of course, dimension that is part and parcel of our Italy-China comprehensive strategic partnership.
Maestro Zubin Mehta and his friends. And this is World Insight. Coming up in the program, insights from Pedro Vargas David, the chairman of the Euronews Board of Directors, on why strong China-EU relations matters today. Welcome back. This is World Insight with me, Tian Wei. Recently, I caught up with Pedro Vargas David, the chairman of the Euronews Board of Directors. As a prominent European investor, he says strong China-EU relations are vital to Europe, and their affluent achievements so far prove that win-win results are possible between the two sides based on mutual interests. Here is some excerpts of our conversation. The uncertainties and unpredictabilities, given that backdrop, an investor like you, what does that mean?
In Europe, the situation is a little bit more difficult. Growth has been reduced in a number of sectors, and exactly this huge increase in spending in defense from European countries will have an impact in our economies. It will boost it, it will have a short-term boost from the spending that is going to start coming. This Germany going for €1 trillion of investment defense. All of these things are going to be radical changes, but we live in uncertain times and we have to be much more careful where we invest. And you start seeing that from the investors. You start seeing things that people were doing a few years ago that have disappeared. In VC, for example, you start seeing less and less, I would call it crazy investments, this idea of financing always companies that are always losing money just for the hope of growth. That is disappearing. We are coming to more reasonable terms, and that is not sometimes always bad. It's better to have soft landings than to have aggressive landings. But in the world of uncertainty we live today, I still think we could be much worse than we are.
Why is the Europeans still pondering now? Why don't they think now is the moment for them to come together with China? It just seems to be such an obvious choice.
Yes. They are. I mean, I would agree that good relations with China are important for Europe. I don't think we should be putting ourselves in a situation where we have to choose either from the United States or from China. Our transatlantic partnership is critical for our security. It's our vital interest. It has preserved peace in Europe. So that's an important element of Europe, geopolitical strain. And I really cherish our relation with the United States. But it should not influence our relation with China. Our relation with China has to be judged on the basis, on the merits of our interests and Chinese interests. And so we have to have our own China policy. The United States have theirs, we respect that, we have ours. First point. Second point, you don't have unanimity inside the European Union. You have countries which take a pretty negative stance towards China. It's very easy to identify which countries they are because they are the countries that China did not give a visa waiver to. So now the list is very clear and it's became very public. On the other hand, you have countries which have received a lot of Chinese investment. I come from a country which has received a lot of Chinese investment. Portugal is a very good example. When Portugal was bankrupt and in a very difficult situation, we did not sell our companies and many of our assets to Chinese companies out of the interest, political interest. We just said it will be a fair competition and whoever pays more will be accepted in the country. And China, at that moment, invested more in Portugal than the United States, than Germany, than other countries. And so our our utility company is the largest shareholder is Chinese. Our state-owned electrical grid is invested by state grid of China. And to be honest, it's a good case because when you look back, we don't really see political influence from China. We don't really see China meddling in internal affairs of Portugal. We share a history of 5 centuries together because of Macau. We have a very positive story after the return of Macau to China, contrary to others. I don't want to go into that file today. But so we've had that good relation with China. And I can say the Chinese investment in Portugal has been responsible, has been positive, and is positively perceived by the population. And so we are a good example where China can cooperate and Europeans can win with that cooperation. We would also like to see more European companies in China and more access for European companies in public tendering, in participation in projects here in China. There's a lot of opportunities here.
But you think about the green options
Yes.
transportation in the future could bring, and the goals the EU set for itself, agreed by all the European capitals. This collaboration, this marriage, quote unquote,
Yes.
between China and the European business is just so natural, isn't it?
You now have a concern that we need to be serious about the environment, we need to be serious about preserving the earth, our shared planet, but we also have to reindustrialize Europe. Yes, we need to do it with solar energy, we need to do it with renewables, we need to do it in a different way. But the green emphasis, and this is important even for China, the green emphasis that was put in Europe 5-10 years ago has radically changed. The political landscape in that sense has changed. Now the rule and the name of the game is reindustrialization. And China can be a part of it and should be a part of it.
So when we become economical and trade, how pragmatic we need to be, not being blindfolded by rhetorics or narratives.
I think the reindustrialization has to be done in a smart way. We need to invest in high-tech industries. We need to develop industries that are of great value added. We continue to be a very rich area in Europe. Europe is a market of 400 million consumers who have an average consumption power that is only comparable to the United States. China is still getting to those numbers. And so we have a very big interest in having a pragmatic solution with China on trade. There are imbalances. The surplus is very different, is very big for China, and so we need to balance that. But we can do it in an intelligent way, and I hope and I believe that the Chinese party would engage in that conversation with the Europeans.
Europe has been, generally speaking, talking about going to the top tier in terms of innovation.
To be honest, I would love to see opportunities to invest more in tech in China. And I think there, from the Chinese side, there should be a little bit more openness towards receiving other companies. I understand when China blocks certain solutions because it's being blocked in the US from other solutions. That's part of the game. In my preferred world, we should be in a situation where everyone could compete everywhere. WeChat should be expanding in Europe and in the US. WhatsApp should be expanding here. And unfortunately, you don't have European solutions at that level, but we need to put ourselves also up for the game. And so in a better world, we should all compete, and the best solutions and the players should be able to play the market. I'm absolutely against bans. I've had, and some of our competitors and famous other media people have said, we should ban TikTok in Europe. I don't think that banning the channel is the way to ban the voices. If we have a problem with the voices, we should not have a problem with the channel. This is a solution not to, if people are not happy, we cannot blame the communication way. We have to address the root causes of why the people are not happy.
And that's all the time we have for today. If you'd like to know more, search World Insight or check out our YouTube channel. Follow us on X and Facebook. I'm Tian Wei on behalf of the team. Thanks for being with us, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.